Hello, welcome to the video presentation of the proposed 2022-23 CVSD budget. I'm Angela Arsenault. I'm the chair of the CVSD Board of Directors. In a few minutes, you'll hear from our superintendent, Renee Sanchez, and our director of operations, Jean Jensen. They'll walk you through the really important details of this proposed budget. But I wanted to start off with just a few notes about the budget development process and budget goals. The primary goal of our budget, as we think about and develop the budget, we're really working with a focus on our CVSD mission. And it's something that many of you have heard, but as a reminder, the CVSD mission is to develop citizens who learn actively and collaboratively, who think critically and creatively, who live responsibly and respectfully, contribute positively to their communities, and pursue excellence in all of their chosen endeavors. Beyond that primary goal, the board seeks to ensure that CVSD meets or exceeds education quality standards set by the state of Vermont. So education quality standards, also called EQS, relates to things like class size and ratio. So it has to do with the ratio of students to adults in a building, teachers to adults, counselors to students, administrators to students, things like that. We always want to be sure that we are meeting or exceeding those standards. We also seek to develop a budget that supports the implementation of key initiatives in our district. Some of these are ongoing initiatives, things like proficiency-based learning, multi-tiered systems of support, as well as stewardship bonds. And you'll hear more about this year's bond from Jean Jensen in a few minutes. Every year in the development of the budget, we identify a few initiatives that are really particularly relevant for the upcoming year. And this year we've identified a couple of those. One that I'd really like to highlight is the addition of 4 dedicated diversity, equity, and inclusion staff positions. You'll see that in the budget. And this is really a very big push to further our focus and commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion work in our district. Additionally, we really wanted to retain a few staff positions that were added to last year's budget, and that's with a focus on maintaining class sizes. So realizing that the pandemic has caused disruption and, frankly, trauma for a lot of our students, we really wanted to maintain class sizes in order to allow teachers, support staff, all of the adults in our buildings caring for our students to have their best chance at offering and providing the most direct personal support to every student. And with that, I'd like to pass it to Superintendent Renee Sanchez.
Hello, my name is Renee Sanchez and I am the Superintendent of Champlain Valley School District. As you may know, the federal government provided COVID-19 aid to the states to allocate to school districts to respond to the pandemic. The first 2 allocations, ESSER 1 and ESSER 2, were meant for school districts to respond to the pandemic by helping with salaries, food, personal protective equipment, and other immediate needs. ESSER 3 is meant to provide the means for recovery from the pandemic. Our recovery from the pandemic will enable CVSD to provide the personnel and resources needed to measure where our students are academically and social-emotionally, as well as to provide them with the means to meet the expectation of our district's mission. To support the recovery this coming year, CVSD will use ARP ESSER funds to support the cost of 11 professionals, including social workers, school counselors, and teachers. The funds needed for these positions are not included in the general budget. However, our ARP ESSER allocation will not cover the cost of all identified pandemic-related needs with the $4.3 million allocated us to use over the next 3 years. The pandemic costs will continue to increase as the effects of the pandemics have extended across another school year. So moving forward, CVSD's proposed general budget will include the additional funds required to provide academic and emotional supports for all students. Several components of the budget I would like to highlight are: first, CVSD follows ratios recommended by Vermont's educational quality standards for class sizes and student allocations. We also listened to the community via our Community Budget Forum and the Thought Exchange survey tool. Both align very well with our district values, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and plan to maintain the class sizes at a level where relationships and engagement between the teachers and students are fostered on an annual basis. Next, as a major part of CVSD's ongoing journey with diversity, equity, and inclusion, we have added $400,000 to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion program, the equivalent of 4 full-time teaching positions. This way, each school has personnel dedicated to expanding DEI within the curriculum, instruction, and daily life of the school. Finally, at the beginning of this school year, we added several teaching positions to limit class sizes to account for some larger grade levels in some of our schools. As we provided the extra positions, we asked the campuses to transition these plans so that these positions would not have to carry all 5 positions into this coming school year. The transition plans worked well, and instead of 5 positions, we instead met the same need with only 3. We will leave these 2 extra positions as placeholders in case we have large class sizes anywhere in the district this coming year. If that scenario does not occur, we will be able to reallocate that money elsewhere. Please remember to vote. Either request a ballot to vote early or on town meeting day in your respective towns. We take being the stewards of the students' education and your tax dollars very seriously in CVSD. As a parent of students who attend CVSD schools and as a resident within the district, it's important to me too that we produce excellence and are mindful of the funds.
Hi, I'm Jean Jensen, and I'm the Chief Operations Officer for the district. Behind the amazing teachers and support staff are the operations teams which make education possible. These folks keep our buildings clean and in good repair, drive and maintain our fleet of 60 buses, provide over 50,000 meals a month to students, manage our IT systems, and provide financial and HR services to support a $90 million a year enterprise. We work hard to keep expenses down while delivering the services the district expects. This year's budget includes the addition of a second data management position to better support the goal of targeted student learning. The proposed budget is $89,397,762, a 4.8% increase over the current year. This is primarily driven by increases in salaries and benefits, along with the addition of the positions described earlier. The tuition increase reflects growth in the statewide preschool program and participation in the regional technical centers. The increase in your tax rate is not based solely on the increase in the budget, but on a host of other state and local factors. Most importantly this year, a $90 million surplus in the state's education fund. After taking these factors into account, CVSD's pre-CLA tax rate is estimated to go down by just over 8.5 cents. Since we consolidated into a single district in 2017, pre-CLA tax rates have been flat or declining. The final step in determining the local tax rate is to apply the CLA. CLA stands for Common Level of Appraisal, and it is a factor the state applies to the appraised property values in each town so that they more accurately reflect market values. Tax rates will be down in all but 2 of our towns. Williston CLA is being appealed, which may result in a lower rate. Now I'd like to give you a short overview of Article 10, our Capital Improvements Bond. This is the second of our stewardship bonds designed to keep up with maintenance across the district. Residents of all 5 towns in the district share responsibility for all 6 buildings. The projects being funded by this proposed bond are focused on the urgent needs in the areas of life safety, accessibility, hazardous material remediation, trip fall hazards, security, HVAC upgrades, and a few high-priority maintenance projects. All schools will benefit from the passage of this bond article. The largest project is at the Charlotte Central School as we continue to address significant deferred maintenance. The second phase of its renovation will bring the electrical systems and fire suppression systems up to current code expectations. At the other schools, we are moving forward with the district's plan to keep on top of maintenance needs rather than deferring them until they become even more expensive. The timing on this bond is designed to take advantage of other retiring debt in order to minimize the impact on the tax rate. However, the entire debt payment at its highest level with no offsets would be 1 cent on the tax rate.
Our school district is proud to offer this budget this year because with it, we know that we are preparing CVSD students for the future today. Thank you so much for taking the time to view our 22-23 budget presentation. This was just an overview. There is a lot more information available, so we invite you to review our materials and the district's annual report on the budget page of our website, cvsdvt.org/budget. Should you have any questions, do not hesitate to reach out to us via the school board email address. You can see it on the presentation. Thank you again for watching, and please remember to vote.